Now, today we are talking about my solo birthday. And yeah, I don't only want to talk about what it was like to celebrate my birthday solo. It is something that I've been doing for years, but I want to go a little bit deeper as I'm trying to understand it myself. So I went a little bit deeper and I wanted to know the psychology behind it. And also, I wanted to share with you, perhaps inspire you to dare do this at least once in your life, because I think it is such a special moment. Why should you spend your birthday alone? It might be something that you should try at least once in your life, right? Let's talk about it. So, less than 2 weeks ago, I turned 51. You know what? Scratch that. Let's not use that phrase. I hate that phrase. I'm not turning 51, or I didn't turn 51. It almost sounds like I turned bad. You know what I mean? Like you have a sandwich that's been sitting there for a while and all of a sudden it turned bad. I'm not turning anything. I celebrated my 51st birthday. Now, since my 50th was a little bit of a doozy, I will not go into details, but let's just say it wasn't exactly the birthday of my dreams. I decided to go full on my 51st. Now, celebrating my birthday solo, this is what I want you to understand, is not something new here. But for this particular birthday, while I normally go away, I just book a flight, I go somewhere in the Caribbean or somewhere in the world, and I celebrate it by myself. I thought this one was a little bit special. You see, I have come into some money with the passing of my mom. My mom left us something, and knowing who she was, I think for us that was left behind, her kids, we thought it was important that with the little bit that she left us, that we do something that is really important to us, that we don't use the money to pay bills or to spend it on things that are necessary, but things that we want, things that inspire us. Now, like I said, normally I would go away, so this time I decided to take some of that money and spend it on a birthday extravaganza for one. So I booked myself a beautiful room at this boutique hotel on the French side of the island. You see, that's what I love about living here in St. Martin. Being on the Dutch side, I live on the Dutch side, but having the French side to go to feels like I'm actually in a complete different environment, right? Because I am in a complete different environment. For God's sake, they even speak French on that side. It's like it's a different language, different people, different environment, but also like even the street names and the street signs are different. So it feels like you are away from your routine, from your normal life. So I booked this little boutique hotel. It was splendid. What a beautiful place. And I spent 3 nights there with no phone, no laptop. Actually, the only electronic devices that I brought with me were my GoPro and my camera, because those are important to me. I love taking photos and videos, and I love editing and putting them all together. That is where my creativity really shines, and it's one of my passions. So why not, right? Even though I sometimes don't even know what to do with all of the photos and videos that I take. So I stayed in this beautiful place. I walked the beach. It was near one of the beaches here. So I walked the beach in the morning. I booked a table at one of the incredible restaurants nearby that I've never actually had the pleasure of dining at before. And I booked a table for one of their better tables. I ordered myself a glass of wine. I, enjoyed the live entertainment that night. But most of all, what I did for those 3 days, I spent it alone with nothing to distract me. There was no phone calls. There was no beeping of the phone indicating that another notification has come in. No WhatsApps, no messages, no email. It was just splendid. It was just me, myself, and I sitting at this pool, because let's be honest, the majority of people staying at this place, the few that were there, this place only had 6 rooms, y'all. So it was really, really peaceful. So the other rooms that were occupied by people that don't live here. So what do? They don't spend it at a hotel. They spend their day exploring the island. So I had pretty much the entire place to myself or at least during the day. I would spend it by the pool, taking a little, a little swim to kind of like cool down. I spend the days actually, writing in my journal, reflecting on my life, on the dreams that I want to accomplish. Really just listening to nature, listening to the environment that I was in, not doing nothing but focusing on me. I booked myself a massage on my actual birthday. I went to dinner. I had a healing session with a friend of mine, and we did that over, like, I don't know how to explain this without sounding way too woo-woo, but she's a spiritual and kind of like a healer. And what she does is that she held space for me where she was, and she told me at 8 o'clock in the morning, you just put on this song, and she sent me this song from before, and I put that song on, and all I had to do was just sit in silence for about 20 minutes. Girl, all I can tell you is all of these emotions and things that came up for me, it is so beautiful when you spend the time sitting by yourself in silence and just listen to your own inner voice. All of that comes up for you and tells you what truly is important in your life. I would urge anybody to actually try this at least a couple of times a week, and if it's your birthday, even more so. Go a little deeper. So like I said, this phenomenon of celebrating my birthday by myself is not a new one. I actually started feeling the need for this since it was on my 40th birthday. At that time, I booked a place with my husband, and I had hoped to spend it just my husband and me on the beach. It was just beautiful, and it was on the best beach on the island, according to me. It's my favorite beach on the whole island. And we spent it there. It was like 3 nights, and it was really beautiful. I had time that in the morning I left him in the room and I went for walks on the beach, just myself. And it was the first time I did that, and it filled me with so much peace. But I have to say, I have noticed that first time when I did it, there was a lot of people that were close to me that knew me as a party girl at that time. Really, they didn't know me at all, because if you were really close to me, you would know that I'm not really into that scene, not even when I was younger. So they knew me as this party girl, or they have met me that way. And then so they couldn't understand why I wouldn't want to celebrate my birthday with them. But this is the thing about your birthday. It is your birthday. So you do with it whatever it is that you feel you want to do. For me, I like to spend it solo. Ideally, I would go somewhere else, or I would spend it like I spent my 51st. Just me, myself, and I at a boutique resort in a beautiful room at this magical place. So I wanted to really know and understand myself and why I have this desire to spend my birthday alone. So I dug a little deeper into it. And what I found is that I'm not the only one. There's more people that feel like this need to spend it by themselves, but a lot of them will go on a vacation and then they'll go make it into a lavish thing, like going out by themselves and have like a birthday cake delivered at their hotel room or whatnot. I mean, like, I'm not justifying, or I'm not actually let me say it this way. What is the word again? I can't find it right now. Oh my god, English is leaving me right now. It's totally leaving my brain. I'm not judging anyone. That's the word. I'm not judging anyone when I say, like, that like they're doing all of these big things. It's not for me, but if that's the way they want to spend it, then good for them. But what I realized is that there's a lot of things that come up for us when we even think of spending the birthday alone. And the biggest thing, of course, is the elephant in the room, because one thing that comes up for people when they decide to do this are the fears. Fears pop up because we are creatures that are constantly looking for connections, right? But those of us who like our solitude, like myself, these things are important, but we are afraid still of some things, like, What if I feel lonely? Now, that for me personally, I've gotten over that because I love my own company. But for a lot of people, when they have to do something by themselves, they're afraid of loneliness, right? There's also afraid of what people will think about it. Will they think it's actually sad that you're spending it by yourself? What if I get into my head too much and then I become sad for the duration of my birthday? There's that too. And what does it actually mean for you to have a birthday for just one person? A birthday celebration for just one, right? So most people aren't just afraid of being alone, they're also afraid of what comes up when they're alone. It's not the being lonely part that scares us. It is what happens when we are by ourselves. Because these thoughts and emotions that tend to come up and sneak up on you when you are by yourself, those are things that you actually have to deal on head first. Is that the way to say it? I'm not quite sure, but you understand what I'm saying. These are things that you cannot ignore when they come up for you. There's no distractions to distract you from what comes up. And I think personally, I think that is what why people shy away from being alone, and especially on their birthday. So the psychology really, when you look at people like myself who actually go and do an effort to spend it by themselves, there is a belonging to yourself that comes up. It is also choosing not to be distracted. It is choosing intuition versus noise. It is feeling aligned and listening inward and listening to your powerful inner voice. It is also your self-worth not being tied to any validation. I think these are the things, the psychology behind people like myself who want to spend it by ourselves, our birthdays by ourselves. And that is what I want for you too. And that's why I think it is something so important to at least think about. If you have been feeling a nudge, what would it be like to spend a birthday by yourself? Now, it doesn't have to be the way I spend it, right? You don't have to take a solo trip. You don't even have to do a staycation. You could just do half a day by yourself. Try with that first. Do something on your own. Take some time in silence with absolute no distractions to just listen to yourself. There is where the wisdom hides. So really, today, what I want to do is I want to ask you a very important question. What happens when you choose to see yourself instead of being surrounded by others? And the benefits are super clear. At least they are to me. You hear your own thoughts clearly when you spend time alone with no distractions. You realize what actually matters to you. You get the time to slow down, and most of us don't know how to do that. We're not familiar with it. And you also reconnect with yourself. You stop performing. You stop wearing that mask. There is no audience to perform for, so there is no performance to worry about. You see what I'm trying to say here? The hard part is, and I will keep it absolutely real, because there is also these uncomfortable parts that come up when you spend your birthday by yourself. There is a silence that can feel uncomfortable. You might reach for your phone. You might find yourself reaching for your phone unconsciously out of habit. And this is something that I am really trying very hard not to do anymore. You might feel even like a little off, especially in the first, I wouldn't say the first day, because the first day for me was brilliant, because I'm still discovering this little place that I rented and how beautiful it was. And I was just in a place of zen, and I had all these great things booked for my birthday in the morning, right? That healing session with a friend of mine and that massage. So I had all of that to look forward to. I had the pool to myself, so I had all of that. The uncomfortable part of it didn't set in until the day after, the last full day that I had had at this beautiful boutique hotel. That is when it got a little cringy. Like, I really wanted to reach for my phone then. That is just telling you right there how obsessed and what a huge part the phone plays in our lives, but also what a distraction it can be, right? But I also felt a little off, in that instance. It started becoming a little uncomfortable, all of this time with just me. And there were even questions that started to coming up for me, and decisions that I thought that I had to make. And that discomfort, actually, that is where the work really happens. So it is important to sit still even during that uncomfortableness that might come up. I didn't figure out life by just spending these 3.5 days by myself. I definitely didn't. I have no clue still on a lot of things what I want to do. And excuse me while I take a break here, because there is actually a little baby monkey in front of my glass door, and he just saw me, and he's seeing that I'm sitting still talking into my microphone. He's now sitting on the table, and he's just looking at me out of curiosity. I'm waving at it. Let's see what it does. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. I have never seen them come this close to a human before. That is adorable. Oh my God, he's so curious. Anyway, speaking of curiosity, that is what I want to invite you to do. Have that curiosity to explore your inner self, and that is what I gave myself space and time to do. Explore my inner self. And yes, sometimes it was hella uncomfortable for all that came up for me, but it was also in that stillness that I found clarity and found answers to a lot of questions that I had in my life at that moment. So I want to reframe the whole idea of spending your birthday by yourself. It is not that you're alone and thus it is sad. You are not a sad person because you choose to spend it by yourself. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you either, or wrong in your life. It is not because you don't want people around you, or that you don't want or don't love the people around you. It doesn't have anything to do with it. It is a choice. It is an intentional reset, and it's a way to come back to yourself. That is what I want you, actually what I want to invite you to do. So again, I'm not saying you have to try this every year. I am saying try it at least once. Even if it's half a day, even if it's only a morning, even if it's putting the phone away on your birthday for a little while and sit in stillness for at least an hour. That's all. Just so you can have some reflection. Write that shit down, in your journal. You don't have to, but even just sitting for like 10 minutes in that uncomfortable stillness. And yes, it's going to be hell uncomfortable before, but the things that come up for you then are just so freaking beautiful, Okay, so going back to what we just discussed, we spend so much time showing up for everyone else, but how often do we actually show up for ourselves completely and fully? Right? That is so important. And maybe the greatest gift that you can give yourself on your birthday is your own presence without distractions. That was my solo birthday. And yeah, it was not perfect. It was a little uncomfortable at times, but honestly, one of the most grounding things and most important things that I have done for myself in a while. So we talked today about why being alone can feel a little bit strange and all the fears that might come up. We talked also about what happens when you stop for a little while and you stop looking outside for the celebration and the validation that you get then, and also looking to validate yourself in that moment and to sit in stillness and not being afraid of all the emotions and feelings that might pop up for you then, and also stillness giving you enough space without distraction to focus on the most important person in the room, which is yourself. And the feelings that come up with you are also indicative of things that you need to know about yourself, and that's why it is important. If this episode made you pause for just a second and made you reflect just a little deeper, or even consider doing something like this for yourself, then it did exactly what it needed to do. And that's all my hopes for this episode for you.